Hi, I'm Kay Purcell, tabletop editor at Gaming Trend, and I had the incredible pleasure of speaking with the cast of Critical Role: Taliesin Jaffe, Liam O'Brien, Laura Bailey, Sam Riegel, Travis Willingham, Ashley Johnson, Marisha Ray, Matt Mercer, and creative director Brandon Auman about the highly anticipated animated series, Critical Role: The Legend of Vox Machina, coming to Prime Video on February 28th. You've all played characters that have really resonated with and impacted a lot of people. And that's something that doesn't come without a certain amount of weight to you all as performers and storytellers. So how, if at all, did your approach to your characters begin to change once you went from a home game to a very public and much more accessible format?
Oh boy, it changed for a lot of reasons. It changed simply because we were playing a lot more often and spending more time in the character's shoes and in the world. So it got richer because of that. We were almost instantly seeing evidence that it was resonating with people and that the fun and joy that we were having, was echoing out to an audience. So it gave, I guess, our fun at the table that little, almost like a dash or goose of energy that you get from performing in the theater, because there is real response, almost instantaneous. So like, there's nothing quite like that. I'll try to wrap up. We would hear that the story was meaning as much to people as it seemed to mean to us, and that was just, sort of mind-blowing, that something that was our own little private gift was how it was, becoming something meaningful to people out in the world. I'll shut up. Jeez,
I think it's really great. One of the cool things about spending more time with the characters and diving in more during the campaign was, for the first time on screen, we were experiencing story elements that got more involved and darker, and like stakes were higher. And that was, when the Briarwoods sort of showed up within the campaign, is when those moments started happening for us. And so it's really great that that's what we get to revisit in the animated series, because I think that's when all of us leaned forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will admit, just playing every week, I've never experienced that before in my life, and it made in any D&D or any role-playing game in general. So it was so much easier to keep in the mode and not have to be reminded where you were 6 weeks ago. And that, I think that also helped a lot of us just really hold on to that. It was such a gift.
We've seen quite a few ties back to the Vox Machina during Campaign 3, from Liam playing your backup character in Campaign 1, to Laudna's Briarwood connection, to the Return of Bertrand Bell even. Do you think that working on Vox Machina Legends had a hand in that and kind of brought some of that to the forefront of your mind? Or do you think that just as people playing in that space, that's something you would have circled back to anyway?
Well, I think we spend so much time thinking about and talking about and spending time in our imagined world that we just love every aspect of it. So, I feel like I'm, to a certain degree, paying homage to something that Marisha and Matt made together back in the beginning, and Marisha's doing something similar to the story that Taliesin unwound, and we've all sort of fallen in love with each other's characters, and it just feels right to celebrate the different aspects of it like that.
There's nothing I can say that isn't a spoiler for Campaign 3 right now.
I almost had you.
Yeah. Oh no.
Did you have a favorite background character that you got to voice
in the animated series?
Yeah.
Oh
man,
it's so much fun picking out. No, that's Liam. No, that's Taliesin. Oh, there's Ashley.
Yeah, but it's a spoiler.
I know.
I'm gonna keep mine to myself.
I don't mind mine. I'm a creature guy. Anytime I get to make a weird, terrible creature noise, I am so happy. So that's the best for me. Humans are great, but big lizard or something is always fun.
Yeah, normally I end up playing like the kids and the that are getting killed off, but we had a plethora of children from the actors that so Sam's kids and your kids, Liam, got to be part of the series, which is really cool. I just want Ronan to be part of it too eventually.
Oh yes.
We got to keep the series going long enough that Ronan can voice something.
with the Legend of Vox Machina, we are seeing some narrative departures where magic doesn't necessarily work exactly the same way it does in D&D. How challenging was it to adapt some of the system's lore and language of the Critical Role story to something that people who've never played a TTRPG could consume and understand, while also staying true to the roots of the campaign and the D&D that it was founded on?
For us, it actually wasn't very difficult. I think, pop culture has set up magic and entertainment so well. There are so many different things to pull from. And one thing that we've learned from playing our RPGs every Thursday is that it's all in the imagination. It's all in how you think about it, right? And there are so many different ways to present a specific spell or an ability or a power. And for us, really unlimited ways to interpret that or deliver it. And that's really why we love animation so much, is because you have such a wide palette. You can choose from effects, you can go into 2D, you can dip your toes into some CG if you need to accentuate that. And, Titmouse Animation has been the best partner in that regard, because we pull from people that love 80s animation, anime, all the inspirations that we love and are coming at it. So, each episode is the collection of all of our shared interpretations and imaginations on how we would interpret things. So it's been really special to just put it all together in that way.
And some of the mechanics of the games that this was the genesis of, they're great in the moment. You're rolling dice and you hope you hit a certain number, and there's the excitement of that. But it turns out that kind of numbers and mechanics actually translates pretty well if you kind of get rid of all the numbers and just make it more about the characters. Like, are they powerful enough to cast the spell? Are they weak? Are they too weak to or too scared to make it happen? And those lend themselves to the story a lot better than the roll of a dice. And it was really great to explore some moments that happened in our original campaign, but now look at them from an emotional prism and sort of see like what was going on in the character's head that either led them to succeed or fail versus just a dice roll.
And because there are really no rules, we can also come up with new interpretations, new abilities, things that we want to flex, for the first time in the show. And so we think fans old and new will enjoy those new spins.
And I remember we did have long discussions about magic and individual, like different characters' magic abilities, and if they were going to use, verbal spells, if they were going to cast a spell. Like, there was a lot of a conversation early on about, magic systems and, per individual characters.
I don't want to start any rumors, Sam, but I do know your background, so I have to ask, Critical Role the musical win?
What's up with that?
I'm very fortunate to play a character that gets to ham it up and sing a lot in this series, and I hope that the audience will enjoy that one of the characters just sings a lot for some reason, because I sure had a lot of fun helping write and also performing a lot of the songs in the show. I would love to do a Critical Role musical or a Legend of Vox Machina on
Put it out
ice.
there, manifest it.
Make it happen.
On ice.
Yeah,
On
Legend
ice,
of Vox Machina on ice. Let's do it. But yeah, I loved getting to ham it up, and I hope to keep doing it for many more seasons.
So we're obviously really excited to see Campaign 1 get the star treatment with Legend of Vox Machina. Can critters hope to see kind of this level of star treatment around some of the other campaigns, or are we staying focused on Campaign 1 for the time being?
I mean, right now we're 100% laser focused on this cartoon series, adult animated series, I should say, and making sure that it not only introduces the world to the characters of Vox Machina, but also the world of Exandria. And you're totally right. The world of Exandria is expansive and doesn't just include these characters. So hopefully this is an appetizer to many more universes and many more exciting adventures ahead and characters to meet.
You've all been very open about how you never anticipated the success of Critical Role, but you take the responsibility that came with that very seriously. So how much work went into, yes, faithfully retelling the stories of Vox Machina, but also bringing in some of your current levels of perspectives and social consciousness?
Oh, wow.
A great question.
That is.
Starting with the easy ones.
Hey, I love
it. I see like a Molly Mock back there on your
Anna
your
Gilmore.
Anna Gilmore.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
Anna Gilmore. Yeah. I think so much of what we've really kind of wrapped our mission statement for our company is around one of the best things that Taliesin ever said is Molly Mock, which is, trying to really leave the world better than we found it. Mm-hmm. And when we jumped into and when we decided to turn a camera onto our D&D game and jump in and stream it on Twitch, one of the reasons that drove us to do that was because we thought, well, if it shows other people how rewarding role-playing games can be, it's totally worth it. If it changes one person's life, then we've done it right. So I mean, we're just so thrilled that we're able to kind of continue to keep that up and keep our hearts in this.
Yeah, I think being authentic to one, the joy that we found together as friends in telling the story and carry that over into this series and through its development has been paramount. And so having us involved at every creative step of this project and being given the control and driving the creative vision for this, along with all the incredibly talented artists and animators and musicians and writers and storytellers that have helped us with this, it's been really exciting. And a lot of that is making sure that we tell a space that is in some ways classically fantasy, but also it is lush and diverse and brings in opportunities for many different voices and many perspectives to kind of show that a genre that in some cases can fall pretty stale still has a lot of room to grow and change and evolve. And so this medium only allows us to do that even further as an animated show, and I'm super excited for people to check it out.
Matt, I feel like the answer is going to be Silas Briarwood, but do you have an NPC that you didn't get to highlight as much as you wanted to in the show, and now you're just super excited to sink your teeth into in the Legend of Vox Machina?
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, the Briarwoods in general. One of the cool things about doing an animated series is we get to spend time away from the players' perspectives. We get to see the antagonists when they're in their comfort zone. We get to see plotting. We get to see interactions that are away from the eyes of just the players at the table. And so, yeah, there's so many moments and so many facets of the story that are going on, machinations elsewhere in the world that are just whispers in the campaign at the table that we get to actually now dive into and see firsthand. And that to me has been super exciting.
And we love to see it as players because we're like, oh, this is what that bitch was up to?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Outside of simply like trimming and streamlining for storytelling, were there any events or story points which, given the benefit of hindsight, you went and approached differently for the animation?
Yeah, I mean, for me at least, a lot of it was the opportunity to take some NPCs that maybe didn't have enough, light in the sun, if you will, and be able to flesh them out more, being able to make adjustments to them, and whether it be just changing some facets of them or tying them more into the main narratives, they're more important and more impactful with their interactions with Vox Machina. That to me was really cool. And as far as the major changes in the adaptation, those are kind of where the big ones sit with me, but only in ways to better the story in this, which is exciting.
And luckily, we really didn't have to stray too far from the story that we did in the campaign, which I was really excited about because, the beauty about role-playing games is you're truly acting in the moment. So it's hard to make a wrong choice, I guess. So, yeah, we were able to really stay true to a lot of it.
Anything you would like to say to newcomers who are experiencing the world of Exandrian Critical Role for the first time through the Legend of Vox Machina on Prime Video?
Ooh. We worked really hard on being able to make this series for people also who have not watched the stream. And that was a big deal for us because, a lot of people may not have heard of Critical Role or heard of the stream on Twitch or what is Twitch, and my mom constantly asks me.
Yeah.
But it's, it was very important for us to tell our authentic story that we told at the table and bring as much of that as we could to the series and bring our silliness and the humor in fantasy. And I think we did a pretty good job at sort of keeping the tone from the table to the animated series. And that was a big goal for us. And I think people will be able to feel that and see that whether or not you watch the streams.
Yeah, I'd say to newcomers, the genre of fantasy can be very serious, and we take it very seriously at times. We also can take it very not serious at times. It's going to be silly, it's going to be ridiculous, it's going to be violent, it's going to be dark, it's going to be heartfelt, and just abandon expectations and have fun.
And there you have it. Thank you so much to the cast of Critical Role and to the folks at Prime Video for the opportunity. Head on over to Gaming Trend to read my spoiler-free impressions of the first 6 episodes of Critical Role, The Legend of Vox Machina, and check out the first 3 episodes when they come exclusively to Prime Video on February 28th.